Thanks for the support as a channel member, Craig Allen. Thanks very much. I did consider having a day off for my birthday, but it's hearing you give me a birthday call first thing, that makes everything much nicer. Can't see a present. No, there's no present. Thanks. No, nobody did get me a suit for my birthday either. I'm back in normal clothes again today. Yeah. I'll try and have a good transfer window. I'll work extra hard. You remember it's my birthday. No, it doesn't matter that it's my... Okay. Fair enough. I do agree. The best way anyone who might be overhearing this conversation to wish me happy birthday would be to leave a thumbs up on the video. If we could get to 3,000 likes on the video today, that would be the perfect way to celebrate my 21st birthday all over again. I agree. Hello and welcome to part 36 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and some of the transfer special. You know how it is with these Champions League qualifiers. We'll go up until then, and then there'll be tomorrow's episode, and then we'll take it from there. We're also still being very disrupted by the fact we had the World Cup mid-season. We're only just getting our season review stuff through on the 12th of June, so we're kind of starting our pre-season almost a month later than we normally would. But we don't actually need to do a lot of transfers this summer anyway, so I'm not upset about it. Let's go through our season review stuff. This is our all-time best 11 now, and it looks very much like the team that finished last season. Branoli in goal, a back four, Giannoutzos, who is being released this summer at the end of his contract, so we're going to need to replace him at left back. Sfarnas and Lawson as our centre backs. Lawson is on loan again for another season, with Kalapitas at right back. Lebrou at the base of the midfield, who of course has now had his release clause removed from his contract, so I'm hoping Lebrou can be in for the long term now. Slattery and Duffy in midfield. This is another area we really need to strengthen this summer because they're both going back to Southampton, as is Damien, who's the striker in our all-time best 11. All three of them not getting their loans renewed, so we're going to have to replace them. Marola is in on the right wing, who replaces Damien next season as our striker. He's in on loan for another year. And Nikos on the left wing is the only one who's not still at the club. He's currently playing in the German third division and probably wishing he'd stuck around, because who knows what might have happened with Nikos if he'd have stayed at the club. But it shows how good the current crop is, that it's pretty much our all-time best 11 as well. Our end-of-season awards, Slattery getting player of the season with 36% of the vote. Emanuelidis, second place on 30%. Of course, scored the amazing goal in the cup final yesterday, as well as picking up a couple of other awards, getting in the divisional team of the year. So he's very much our left winger for next year. Marola finishing third on 22% of the vote. Kike Baja got goal of the season for this effort against PAOK. Let's have a little look at this one. He obviously came off the bench because he's not on there from the start. I mean, he's kind of one of the forgotten men as we continue to strengthen the wings. Baja is dropping down the pecking order. So despite this goal of the season, might find himself leaving the club this summer. It's a solid goal, though, that's for sure. Emanuelidis getting signing of the season. Cannot argue with that at all. Came in on a free transfer from Panathinaikos, who just weren't using him at all. We've put him in our team. His value is now £4.5 million. And he's just... I don't know how he's not in the full Greek squad. I think he's very, very close. And young player of the year for the second season in a row is Paul Duffy. Our goal as a team with such a good youth setup has got to be next season. Young player of the year should probably be someone who's actually an Apollon player. Our team of the season then is Branoli in goal. And back four of Giannoutzos, Kios, Lawson and Kalapitas. Lebrou at the base of the midfield with Slattery and Duffy ahead of him. Giroud, Marola and Emanuelidis as our front three. So that immediately shows you where we've got to strengthen this summer. We've got Juan already coming in at right back, but we need two new central midfielders and a left back. We've obviously got Androutsos and Singh to be the other two central midfielders, but we have no other left back. I guess Kalapitas could go over there with Juan coming in. We've got a couple of decent depth options out wide. We probably need another striker, though, because we'll only really have Marola and Luris. But left back is high priority. These are the other stats. Marola finished top scorer on 23 goals. Duffy, top average rating. Dura, most assists. Brunoli, best pass completion. Marola and Slattery tied for Man of the Match awards. And then Chios and Calavera are the Naughty Boys Club this year. Once again, we overachieved. We were supposed to finish in the top half. We finished second for the second year in a row and won the Greek Cup. So we are back in Champions League qualifying for the second year in a row. But this year, much more prepared, and I would like to think in with a better chance of making it through a round or two. We'll have to see. The board are looking for another top half finish for us for next season. We're maintaining the best youth system in the country, and that means we've upgraded back to the best. That's good. So we're looking for a top half finish and Champions League first preliminary round as a minimum. So Mrs Wearmouth doesn't mind if we get knocked out at the first attempt in the Champions League again. I would be not as happy about that. We're also improving the training, youth and data analysis facilities and working towards winning or challenging for the Super League by the end of the current 5-year spell. We want to be doing that much sooner than that, although a lot of that depends on just how good Olympiacos are. We're all hoping that they just had a freak of a season, because if they're as good as they looked last year, it might take us 5 years to win the Greek League. Our team leaders are Chios, Androutsos and Brunoli. All three of them very much going to be part of the squad next year. And we don't want too much of an overhaul this summer. It's about adding key players in key positions and just topping off the squad, really. So what do we say here? How do I put that into Football Manager speak? Top half next year. There you go. They're happy. Good stuff. End of season break, finally. And we're off to Austria on our training camp, which is always nice. If we go into the team report then and have a look at our squad depth and just filter that so that any expiring contracts or the loans are taken out of it, and we don't want any trialists showing up at the moment, and filter for 3 stars. We'll add that to 2 stars in a second, but filtering for 3 stars, this is what we've got. And you can see there's already been a little bit of transfer movement. We've got Brunoli as our goalkeeper, Lawson and Chios as our defenders, and then Lebrou and Calavera we already know about, and Androutsos and Singh we already know about. But this is one of our first players that has already been prearranged to come in that I don't think I've introduced to you yet. Pedro Chirivela, who's joining on a free transfer from Aston Villa. He played in the Premier League last year. In fact, he's played in the Premier League for several years now and was previously of Liverpool. And I think that's an incredible signing for us. He can come in and really compete in both central midfield and defensive midfield. And he's coming in on an end of contract free transfer. Also doing the same thing is Linton Miner, who's a 23-year-old German winger, can play on either side, primarily a right winger, but can play over on the left as well. He's been playing in the Bundesliga regularly for the last 5 years, apart from that one season when they flirted with the second division but came straight back up again. And then also we have our striker, Christian Kwame, is a 25-year-old Ivorian international. He's another quick striker. He's only 54% scouted, but you know what? I trust my scouts. They say he's almost as good as Marola and he's quick. That's what we're looking for, and he's got experience playing in Serie A. So we've filled a few gaps. If we add the 2 star players back in, we fill even more of the gaps. We probably need to get some players on the transfer list, because if we look in some of these positions, there's players who are never going to get anywhere near this team now. The likes of Calavera. I don't expect Calavera to ever get anywhere near the team. He only played 9 games last year, and we've just signed a player over the top of him. So Calavera is probably going to be one of those who leaves, and there's a few of these in each position. So we're going to get some of those out, work out how much money we've got left, and then go and find a left back and maybe one more midfielder and call that squad done, I think. It's never that easy though, is it? Well, we now know who we're playing in the Champions League qualifier, Club Bruges. Not the easiest of games, and if we get past them, it continues. You then hit the 3rd qualifying round. You then hit the playoffs. So we've got to get through 3 rounds of this to make it into the Champions League proper. It's going to be tricky, but I mean, Club Bruges, do they feel beatable? I mean, they're able to spend £14 million on a player, so I guess that answers that question. But they're a 3.5-star club. We're a 3-star club. It's not impossible for us to go and beat them. It's looking like we're probably going to be looking at the Europa League again, though. Now, this is what I call a piece of transfer business. Stratos Smyrnis, the player that we brought in as the replacement for Ryan Lawson way back when, on a free transfer from Ike. He's kind of our 3rd/4th choice centre-back. Was covering at right back for the second half of last season. We've sold him for £1.7 million. We're getting we're getting nearly £1 million added to our budgets, which means we can sling some back into wage budget to cover those new players we've just brought in, which gives us spensies again. If we can do the same thing with Barja, which we're trying to do, that starts to generate some cash for us. You can tell I'm still very much getting used to this whole European football management thing, because I forget how many transfers get arranged during the season. So Breno has just gone, and the fans love it. Who is this? Petralis has gone. The fans love it. Smyrnis has gone, and apparently he was an important player. We got £1.7 million for him. That's a good deal. I don't even remember who he is, but the fans are happy that he's gone. These players are all in. I thought I only had 3 coming in, but apparently it's 4. And I guess, Jura. I don't remember Christian Capone. Or Capone. We've got so many wingers now. We need to get rid of some wingers, which I am working on. But we already met Chirivela, Kwame and Minor earlier. You know who Jura is. That's 2 left wingers coming in there and a right wing. We've already got Leonidas. Anyone who's not those 4 really needs to move on. They all need to go on intensive language courses. Let's get them all welcomed in. We will have a look at the squad and the money in a second. And there are a number of players who I've offered out who are kind of fringe players, including the likes of Halilaj and Luris, who just haven't grown as quickly as the club has. I've also got some youngsters who we've promoted to the first team as well, which we'll have a look at. Get all those in the squad, though. Keep moving through. So there's Stuart Chatterton with a new deal. He continues to progress nicely as the next in a long line of defensive midfielders coming through. He probably needs a loan deal this year. Luris can go out on trial. I'm happy with that. Who is this guy? Is he one of our youngsters? He is. So that needs turning down. Yeah, you've rejected it. Good, you've rejected it. Let's give this kid a new contract. We need all of our youngsters tied down for as long as possible, especially the ones that attract interest from other clubs. Come on, you have him 5 years and you're going to like it. There we go. There's offers for Luris. I wish I hadn't have taken the trial offer now. We'll just let him go. Paniolis, this is the young left winger who's got bags of potential. We've just signed 2 more. Betis offering almost nothing for him, but there's your indication that he needs a new contract as well, because he's only got 4 years left on his with 5-star potential. That will never do. Give him 5 years. There we go. I didn't see what the second thing. He could have added anything there, and I was just double clicked it, not really focusing on it. Actually, it could have risen to quite a big deal. So money's looking like that. There are players on their way out though. Halilaj, Del Favreau, Barja's got a £400,000 offer in. We've also offered out Pastrana. I think we had £1 million offer for him, or something in that, £1.3 million. We signed him for £400,000 in January. Realised we didn't really, £675,000. Realised we didn't really need him, and now we're going to sell him on for double the money. It's great being a Champions League club, but if they all go, we should have some spensies, or we've got some spensies anyway. And this is what the squad currently looks like. If we filter to that 2-star depth, we haven't even started bringing in trials yet, but we've got Kwame, Simic. Where's Marola? Oh, I've taken loans off, haven't I? I think. Why is Marola not there? Why is Marola... Marola's back. There we go. So Marola and Kwame plus Simic and Kieran Blavins as backup, who's 5-star potential, 2.5-star current ability. This guy needs to be getting some first team time this season, and will. On the right-hand side, Minor and Emanuelidis, that will do. Pastrana and Barja are hopefully both going to be leaving. Capone and Jura on this side. Paniolis is the youngster who'll want to get some game time over there as well. Andrutsos Singh, Chirivela, Calavera as our 4 in midfield. I'd like to get rid of Calavera and place him with one more, but it's more important we get a left-back then replace him. So if he has to stay as our fourth choice, that's fine. Molina's gone out on loan for another season, and then Lebrou is the last one who can theoretically play there but doesn't. Our defensive midfielders, we've got Lebrou, and then lots of people who can drop back from midfield. Chirivela, Calavera, Halilaj is on his way out, as is Kamikamis. And Drutzos can drop back there too. And then we've got another youngster who's been promoted to the first team squad, Leonidas Bernardos. 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. He was out on loan last year. He's in the first team squad now he's unlikely to play, but he'll be in and around the first team squad. And then at the back, we've got Lawson Kios, Sirikos, and Mark Tracy as our 4 centre-backs, plus another youngster who's been promoted, Socrates Bekios, who's another one who's 5-star potential. So more youngsters entering the squad all the time. Calapitas, Juan, and Guras as right backs. Calapitas the only left back though, so we need at least 1, if not 2 left backs. Then we've got Brunoli as our keeper. Del Favro's on his way out, but then we've got the 2 youngsters, Todd Thomas, who's still showing 4.5-star potential, and Kieran Hodgkinson, who's still showing 5-star potential. So 2 very good young goalkeepers. So I'm thinking 2 left backs, a centre back, a midfielder who can maybe play defensive midfield as well. Looking at star ratings, you'd almost say goalkeeper, but we know how good Brunoli is. But, I mean, we've not got loads of wage budget, but there is going to be loads more money flying in now. In fact, can we have an increase in percentage of transfer revenue, please? Come on. Never mind. It's worth a try, because we've got like £2 million coming in. We're going to get 60% of it. That should still be plenty. Right, let's do our normal 1st of July, getting some trialists in, and hopefully fill these squad gaps. We haven't even looked at loans yet. We're in so much more of a strong position than we were this time last year when we were looking at the Champions League. So much stronger. Well, we still haven't gotten rid of Barger, but we have done a lot more business. We sold Pastrana for 1.4 million. That's 3.4 million pounds worth of sales now. Halilaj has also gone for 15,000. I think, had Luris gone before? He has now, as has Del Favro. And Calavera has just gone to Albacete. No, 145,000. Not even going to try. We brought in Peter Etabo, 27-year-old Nigerian international central midfield player. Can really play anywhere in the midfield, but we brought him in as like the Duffy Slattery replacement to compete with Andrutsos, Singh, Chirivela in there. He's been playing for Stoke in the Championship for the last several years. Bit of a goal-scoring midfielder, which is never going to be a bad thing. We've also brought in a youngster. We now have a superstar youngster on each wing. This guy, Alex Constantopoulos. 4.5-star potential right winger. He's just come in because we were able to poach a youngster, so we've poached a youngster, and we've signed a left back on loan, Frank Pritchard, England under-21 international, 19 years old, on loan from Everton until the end of the season. Much better than any other option we had there. We still probably need another left back, and we've still got a little bit of money to play with as well, especially if Barger leaves. There's a £400,000 offer in for him, or in fact 2 £400,000 offers in for Barger. But even without him going, the squad is looking stronger and stronger. We could maybe do with one more striker, unless we're going to put a lot of faith in Simic or Blavins. But wingers, midfielders, defence, I think we're set just about everywhere. Even if we don't get another left back, Calapitas can just be like the cover man on both sides. We've done that enough times on FM20. We did it in Non-League to Legend. We're kind of doing it at the moment with Bourne, where we only really have 3 full-backs, but one of them can play both sides. And it's a way to keep everybody happy and everybody involved. It wouldn't be the end of the world to get another centre-back in, because, again, Calapitas is covering there. We've only really got Lawson, Kios, Sirikos. We have got Tracy as well, but he's only a 2-star player, so a little bit off the pace back there. But I'd be happy going into the new season with this squad. So we're kind of just waiting for special players to come up now. Otherwise, we go with this, and it's stronger than the team that finished last season, and it's only the 9th of July. So I am delighted with that. The other news is we keep getting offers in for Paniolis, the young 17... No, he's older than that. He's 18-year-old winger now. Offers are getting as high as £2.5 million from some quite impressive clubs. I think he's the new one who's generating interest. There's been no offers for Lebrou. I don't think there's any interest in Lebrou anymore. So I think Lebrew is definitely in for the long haul. Paniolis is the new one that everybody wants. So I think we probably need to find a way to get him into the team this coming season. We have got an enormous first team squad. We've got, how many is that? 39 players in our first team squad. Mainly, I'm going to blame this on the fact we don't have a reserve squad. So we have the under-19s and we have the first team, and that's it. There's nothing in between. So you've got players, I don't know, who can we use as... I mean, Paniolis is a good example. In England, he'd probably be in the under-23s still. But as it is, he has to sit in the first team squad. Simic is probably another example of that. So there's a lot of young players in here. If we sort this by age, you'll see that we've got, 8, 9, 10 teenagers in the first team squad. So take them out. And it's still quite a big squad. But, I mean, more than half of it, 2/3 of it is under 23. So I'm not too upset. I think we're okay. Now we just wait for players. Don't really know what else I want now. Just keep an eye on the scout reports, looking for a bargain. And that pretty much brings us up to date. There's a couple more transfers that have gone through just before the Club Bruges game. I think we'd already sold Barge. I haven't. The only other out is Mark Tracy, has gone out on loan for the season. He's getting to play some football in the Spanish second division for Lugo, so that can't be a bad thing. The reason we were able to let him go is because we brought a defender in on loan for the season. Nikos Michelis is a 22-year-old Greek international on loan from AC Milan for the season. He originally came through the Tripolis team before going to Milan, and I feel like this is someone that we can bring back to Greece and start to build in terms of planning for our eventual takeover of the national team job. But he's 6'3", so he's going to be handy from set pieces. He'll be able to partner Ryan Lawson at the back. Kios can then offer the backup and the competition. Talking of Ryan Lawson, we've extended his loan again. He's now on loan with us for at least the next 2 seasons. So Ryan Lawson's never leaving. I think it's pretty clear he's going to be a hero of the save. And we've also signed Eduard Mendy, a 19-year-old, a 31-year-old Senegalese international goalkeeper with 19 caps, who my scout said was going to be better than Brunoli. The star rating says he's not as good as Brunoli. Should we do a comparison? Let's have a little look. Who do we like more? Who's going to start in goal against Bruges? So they're equal for shot stopping. Mendy's got better physicals, better speed. Brunoli's better mental. Mendy's better communicator. I never know if a high number for eccentricity is good or bad. They're vaguely even anyway. Mendy's also better aerially, and he's 6'6", which is always an advantage again for going up for corners. And they've got the same for distribution. I feel like Mendy is the best goalkeeper. But then we know how good Brunoli is, and plus Brunoli has big matches on his pros, which is always a good thing as well. We've got 2 very good goalkeepers, and 2 of the best young goalkeepers around as well. Can't be a bad thing. But we will wrap that up the 8 there. We'll be back on Sunday 11 a.m. as usual for the 2 games against Club Bruges. If we do make it past Bruges, the draw for the next round has already happened. So the third best placed third qualifying round thing will be one of us against Sturm Graz, who are only a 3-star team, and I feel like we can definitely beat them. So if we can make our way past Bruges, we're then 1 foot in the playoffs, I think. But in the playoffs, there's some useful teams. Goodness me, there's some useful teams. So we're going to have to see how things pan out. But fingers crossed, it would be amazing for the progress of this save if we could make it into the Champions League group games. So let's see, I guess. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.